Hello and welcome to another episode or video, depending on whether you are listening or watching. So here we have our final final installment of my call with Asa. So we dug into a whole lot on pricing in the last two installments, and now this is where we're kind of just finishing up some odds and ends around things. So we talk about setting up a website so that it's clear about what you do and what you offer. Talk about expanding my offer in different ways, but how you can other areas you can go into as a forest school leader. And we talked about waiting lists, and then we also spent a good while talking about selling an online course. So we talked specifically about my online course and where to go from here. And that pretty much rounds out our conversation. So I'm not going to waffle on anymore at the start here. So let's just get straight into my conversation with Asa.
Yeah, I took a deep dive into your website. Um, two very small points on that. I think your website is absolutely fantastic. But I yeah, my thinking on your website was that sometimes there's a little bit too much information on some of the slides. Some of the copy over explains stuff a little bit, and as a result, is not as targeted as it could be. Um, I personally really like websites that are like, boom, like here's the value, here's the thing you wanted to read, here's what I can do for you. Um, there's a really good book by Donald Miller called Building a Story Brand. I don't know if you've read that one. You
In my
have, yeah.
library.
Yeah, that's a fantastic book. Um, but I love that he says that within 5 seconds of anyone looking at your website, they should know what you offer, why it's for them, and how they can give you money. Those are like the three things you should have, and boil it down to those three things. And it gets a bit more nuanced than that, but ultimately, that is the oh no, it's not how they give the money, it's what they need to do next if they want to do business with you. But I think your website certainly could do more with explaining more clearly what you offer and explaining more clearly why it's for the person looking at your website. And I'm aware that you have a little bit of a kind of dual identity with the outdoor leaders thing and the stuff for adults and the stuff for home ed kids and things, but it's just in the various areas of your website targeting stuff a little bit more. So one example of that is, when we talked about the initial check-in, you said to me that you are, the only sessions you're running basically are for home ed kids, and you do this and this for home ed kids, and you really like the home educated community in Birmingham. You feel like it's really accessible to you. It's a good community that likes what you're doing, and you feel much more comfortable working with that kind of child than SEN children or SEMH children or with schools. But on your website, I didn't see anywhere home educated forest school. Like I saw like some mentions, but I like when you go on your website and you're up the top and you go, is it courses or something or forest school, and you have the drop down menu. I want to see on every single one of those, like forest school for home educated families, bushcraft for home educated families. Like if that's your niche, let's go for it. Because I, there is absolutely no downside to completely niching down, because you can always expand at the other side. But the more niched you are, the more effective your marketing is, the higher prices you can charge. There's so many arguments for niching down. So that would be my bit of feedback for you: is change the language on the website to be all in on, if it's home educated children, be all in on that. You can have other areas for other avatars, but if your forest school is only for home educated kids, make that the focus. And then you could always have, if you're not home educated, we do holiday clubs and this thing and that thing, so it's still somewhere they can go if they're not home educating. But if that is your niche, let's go for it, because I think being on the outskirts of Birmingham, you've got huge opportunities there.
Yeah, yeah, that's a very fair point. I hadn't really realized that. I hadn't capitalized on that. I've been pushing a lot more with social media and sales copy and everything else, making it very clear that, yeah, I'm offering this homemade community. We're building a community of other parents that are like-minded, and you'll
Yeah,
meet people who are on the same journey as you and all that. Yeah.
yeah, exactly. And you want to be the home ed forest school guy in Birmingham. That's then what you should brand yourself as, I think. And then we won't have any discussion about this whatsoever. I just want to plant 3 seeds. I reflected a lot on what you said about kind of groups you want to work with, groups you don't want to work with, things like that. And if you've tried these things, that's totally fine. But I thought 3 things you could add to your offer down the line that could be really good. One is forest school and bushcraft birthday parties. One is CPD for adults, which we talked about a bit more before in the check-in. But I think with better marketing, better targeting, and maybe with some affiliates on your side within your networks, that actually you could easily fill an in-person TARPS course in the Birmingham area, I think. But again, this is seeds for the future, not for now. And the last one is week-long holiday clubs. So those are the 3 things I want you to think about for if you're going to do something extra, do those next, I think.
Yeah, I have a mental hierarchy for those already. Yes.
Great, really good. Yeah, so then notes on the website. Yeah, and then I've got another thing here for a lead magnet that you could offer. Again, this is just to plant a seed, and you might already do this. But having some kind of funnel through your website, through your social media, through your podcast, through YouTube, whatever it might be, that takes people to a place they can book onto an open day for home education for a school.
This is a big takeaway that I took from our discussion on the podcast. Was the open day approach. I didn't end up needing it at the time because, well, the sessions are filled out. So I'm like, well, okay, there's no point in me running a free session if everything's going well. But that's a really good point. Yeah, it's something to look.
Right.
There's more kind of things I can slot in and push more if I need to fill spaces and the tool.
And I think just because you're full now doesn't mean your forest school is going to be full forever. And an open day is great. You obviously have to have the income from the other things to be able to finance the open day, and that could all be part of your client finance, acquisition, whatever. But open days are great for three reasons. So one is that you can educate people about what you do. You can also educate people about forest school as an ethos, because I would say 80% of people still don't know what forest school is. They've heard of it, but they don't know what it is. So you can people can see it hands-on, try it for free, no risk. It's very great, very easy. They can just come along and see. And the third thing is that even if you're fully booked, you can get people on a waiting list. And a waiting list is amazing, because a waiting list is, you're not saying, right, give me your card details, then if you want to come back. You're just saying, if this looks like something you might like to do in the future, here's the waiting list, because we're fully booked at the moment, but here you go. And then I'll let you know if a place becomes available and you can have a think.
It is helpful for putting pressure on the people that are attending the sessions to go ahead and book.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, waiting lists are amazing. Yeah. So that's that. Yeah. And then so I'm going to talk about the TARPS course next, but to really quickly go over 3 kind of recommendations that I have for you. These will be on the action plan as well. One is niche, and niche some more. Keep really niche all your language, niche the website, niche around whatever you want to do. You can have different niches in different areas of the website, but you want home education families to find your home educated forest school page with all the information about how great it is to do home ed if you're forest schooling and everything like that. And then the second one is the referrals and affiliates for the home ed community. And that leads me nicely on to 2 book recommendations. I don't know, you might have read these already in your research, but we talked about Alex Hormozy when he was on the podcast. But these 2 books are like my marketing Bibles. So the first one is $100 Million Offers.
Yeah.
And say again.
Got that.
Got that. Fantastic. So yeah, this is a really good book all about how to create value and how to just talk about your stuff is the thing in a way that makes people want to buy it. That's a good one. And then $100 Million Leads. Have you got that one? His second book.
I don't think so. No.
No. This one is really good for the first bit, but I think you've already got this quite down, but it's worth going over again. But this book is like the subline is how to get strangers to want to buy your stuff. And his writing style is amazing, his diagrams and the way he operationalizes everything and explains things so simply. But this has got all the frameworks, ideas, methods, scripts for doing warm outreach to people that know you, cold outreach to people who don't, posting content on social media, and running paid ads. He's got all the information in this book. And then once he's covered all that, he then goes into referrals, affiliates, lead getters, and agencies as the extra ways you can get more leads. So this is this is the big one I would read. Pick up a copy on eBay or something, or Amazon. But that's it. That these two books have done more for me, both in my work in Norway and my work with Forest School support, than any other marketing books I've read. I've read loads. And I think leads, especially for you, getting the confidence to feel like you know what you're doing with the advertising, is the big thing. So those are the 3 recommendations. And then I did a very small model of what your income might look like, just looking at some numbers. So I did this very quickly, and it's not complete. But I said if we had 20 children paying 60 quid a month for bushcraft and forest school, then that's £1,200 a month just from that one part of what you offer is 1,200 quid a month. If we're selling 5 places on the tarps course every month, that's 250 quid, there or thereabouts. And we'll come back to that in a second. And the conservation work, if you can get that raised to £150 a day, that's 600 quid a month, which means that that's £2,050 a month revenue. There's still your expenses and stuff to come off that, but obviously you're doing other things as well, in holiday clubs and other bits and pieces, and people might be paying more to do the home ed stuff. So that gets us almost to that 1,800 quid mark minus expenses. So it's like it's finding a way to make all that work. And I think the key thing right at the beginning of this call, this brings us nicely back round, and I said, what's the thing I could wave a magic wand and it would work? What do you think the easiest win is? I agree with you, it's the tarps course. And I want us to alongside fixing the pricing of the everyday forest school sessions that you're doing, to go over the tarps course. So I'm going to rattle through stuff on this. I can send you the notes on this as well, so you're not writing like crazy. But the tarps course, the production quality is amazing, and you should be really proud of that. You've worked really hard. The fact you're mic'd up, you're filming on a DSLR, it's all nice ambiance, everything's framed really nicely, you explain stuff really well, and I got that impression as soon as I looked at the trailer. And I think that's a big pro of the trailer, is it really is like a flavor of what's to come in the course. I think I'd like us to look at recording another advert for it. And I say us because I'd like to help you with the script and the copy for the ad, because I think it could be a little bit more streamlined, both thinking about that story brand book and the way it simplifies communication that way, and also talking about the stuff that's covered in $100 million leads. You could tweak the script so it's really like, are you really bad at tying knots? Do you always feel frustrated you can't do this or whatever? Like, in this course, I go over this and this and that, and look, because the ad is great and it's really calming and you have a lovely presence and it's nice production quality, but it's quite a lot of talking about various stuff before you get to the point.
I'm totally on board. The advert is something that has been on the list of ones that I'd like to redo.
That's good. And I would, a bit like I said about like really looking at the negatives of other things and pushing them as positives of your own program, is I would lean into the online aspect super hard. So sell the positives of that. Why is it better than a day course? Why is it better than doing it face to face? You can consult it anytime. You can watch it again and again. It's self-paced. It's targeted learning. You can learn the knots you want to learn. A face-to-face course, they cover all the knots in one day. Maybe you don't get the right good enough quality photographs of it. You can't discern your scraggly notes. What was it you were meant to be doing? It was information overload. You had a headache by lunchtime. You can't remember the names of all the knots. Like, this is like the kind of way I want you to be talking about your tarps course, so that it's like, I want you to hit these people that are in my forest school group that are telling me in my little questionnaire when they join, I'm joining because I need more help with knots. So many people say it. I've gone over knots with so many people, both in my forest school work, face to face, in the group. People asking what's the right knot for this, what's the right knot for that. People have such little confidence with knots, and often they're met by the forest school purists that are like, this should have been done in your training. It's like, yeah, it was done in my training, but my training was 2.5 years ago. you know, that's the market you want to appeal to, is those people who, like, once upon a time they did go over the knots, but they can't remember. Like, can you not remember the knots that you did in your forest school training? I'm here to help, you know, all that kind of thing. And I would really sell that it's your passion and your specialism. Like, sell your background, sell that you love tarps, you're obsessed with it. Over the years, you've perfected. You know, you talk about it a little bit in the ad, but I'd lean into it even more. And then I've got, like, I would love you to launch and present this in my group. Like, you're totally free to advertise in my group, and that's where all the people are that want to know it. And I'd be happy to partner with you for it. So, you know, I will have done the course. I'm going to write a testimonial for you. I'll give you some feedback. I can talk about it in the group in my own content about what a handy course it is, because I think it's a great resource. I'm really happy to do that. And it helps me, because I don't know I was going through the list and I don't know all the knots that you've got on that thing. So I'm going to learn something from it as well. So that's one thing. And we can then, you know, we can affiliate on it. So if you advertise it through the group and I make some stuff for you, whenever, we can have a, you know, some kind of deal or arrangement or something, whatever it might be, you know, to sell it. And I think, yeah, sell it is the thing. But I think before, a bit like I said in the beginning about our process of, 1, we need to fix it, 2, we need to tell the world about it. I think there is a little bit of fixing to be done around the copy, around the advert, around the pre-buying decisions.
Yeah.
The price point of £50 I think is really good. I think without an explanation of why it's better to do it online than in person, people will be wary. That's my feeling. They'll be at £50, but I could do a day course, you know, this, or, you know, or my trainer's offering it for 90, or that's, you know, to do it online, it should be much cheaper. So it's finding a way to show the value, show the benefits of that. Yeah, we could have, like you sent me that lovely email with the, like, voucher where it was free. We could have a voucher for people in the forest school group, and you could say, you know, Asa has given me permission to advertise this in here because he thinks it's amazing, and anyone that joins from this group can use the code forest school support or something to get 25% off or whatever. And I think you could also, again, you know, after you've read $100 million leads, you'll probably think of ways that you could incentivize referrals of other people onto the course or things like that as well. And I think, like, you've obviously launched the course already and you've done all the work, and the work is amazing, and it's just putting it out there now. Like, let's make it pay. Like, this is not something to leave by the wayside and say it didn't work, because it's amazing. It's a great course. And I don't know if you know this, but if you type in online knots and tarps course, yours is the only one that comes up.
Yeah, I couldn't find another one.
Yeah, it's right at the top of Google. So you've got international audience potentially at your fingertips there. So I think, like, just going for it is the big thing. Yeah, I think a big relaunch. So, like, pretend you never launched it before, because I didn't know you had a course. Probably nearly 99% of people in my forest school group and other people in the forest school, in the whole world of outdoor life that need these knots, don't know you launched it. So you can launch it again. Pretend you've only just launched it, you know. Have a big relaunch, a big push and promotion, you know, make the work you've done already pay. We need to tweak the offer a little bit, I think, and the copy and the trailer for it. When I say the offer, I mean, like, I think there's certain things you could add to the course that would add to its value. So when I had a look around it earlier, when you sent me the link, I was interested to see what there was in addition to the videos explaining the stuff, and it is just videos at the moment. So I think it'd be really good to have, like, PDFs of the different knots with your Bracken Outdoors logo on it, with some drawings or some stuff. You've probably got this in your mind already. Some handouts, support and contact throughout the course. So, for example, at the bottom of the Thinkific course on the last page, you could say, if you need any support, you've got 2 years of my support with the content of this course. Here's my phone number, or here's my email address. And you could have online practice groups, little webinars where people meet up and practice knots as part of the, like, and now we're going £50, £60, £69, £70, who knows, like, where we could go with the price, and we can fix the price before we tell everyone about it as well.
I mean, that's an excellent point. And actually, this was only supposed to be the middle tier for the whole thing. It's just, I've paused the rest. There was going to be an advanced version. I've already got half the content filmed for that. That's just sitting on a Google Drive, because is going in, because it's like, okay,
Yeah.
make this work first, then
Yeah.
as I can't remember who it is, talks about the value ladder,
Yeah.
like increasing the things. Yeah, I mean, I'd love to do TARP's PDF stuff, but
Yeah, I think like, and this is using the $100 million offers thing again. The way he says, list every single problem they'll encounter along the way of learning how to do knots and tarps, and then solve every single problem. So one of the problems definitely would be, well, what if I need some more help one-to-one and I don't understand something? Well, you can call me, you can email me. There's this PDF that explains it, everything. I would also have like quick launch guides. So like little PDFs. It's like, so you need to put up a tarp for this thing. Here you go. You need to put up a high shelter. Here you go. And it's like, here's the diagram, here's the knots, here's how it'll look in the trees. Go. Like you've relented from the course. Here you go. Again, so like making it even easier for them to implement what you've taught them. The online practice groups, webinars, maybe have a Q&A. You could also, accountability is one of the most valuable things that you can add to any kind of course. And I've made a lot of money from doing accountability through the Forest School support thing, is just saying that, like, when you book on the course, I'm going to check in with you every 2 months. How are you finding the course? Oh, I haven't done it yet. All right, okay. Well, it's just you do lesson one or whatever, and oh well, actually, I really struggle with the fish on the dish knot. So, okay, great. Well, I can send you some extra information about that. Have a look at this video on YouTube or whatever it might be, and that kind of thing is going to make people want to buy it more because you're checking in on them after they bought the course and everything. And I think it could be high. It could be a lot higher price if you implemented all those additional things. If you've solved every single problem and it comes with all these extras and all these bonuses and all these guarantees. I mean, there is a guarantee on it already, isn't there? And also like slotting in the things like what was I going to say? Like the monthly knots and tarps Q&A that I run on Zoom on a Thursday night. Whatever it might be.
So
Yeah.
whoever it is that Value Ladder came out of Marketing Secrets, he's got like 3 books, and the other one he talks about is the value stack. It's just like, okay, who wants to buy this phone? Well, okay, it's just a phone, but wait a second, this phone's got this in it, it's got that in it, it's got these apps, it's got all of this Kindle library, it's got all of the, and it's like, okay, now who wants to buy it for double the price? Like,
yeah, exactly. And I think I would do that work first, and then when you've done that work, come back to me, and we'll do a big push on relaunching the thing. Because I think this will sell. I think five people a month is a low estimate, and I think if you've read $100 million leads, you're following some of the systems and the frameworks in there, you dedicate a bit of time on your marketing day, an hour, to do some of the actions that the book recommends, you'll get people to buy it. And it's a great course, and I think it's it's top of Google when you look up a course, and you could write blogs about why you should do an online tarps course, and you could do a podcast about the benefits of doing an online tarps course. So there's so many things that just build that. Like the hesitation at the moment will be, whoa, but I do it online, I want to do it in person. So you've got to lean into that, like, well, this is why online is better. And I think that's the thing that's lacking at the moment, is that real, like, oh, you don't know knots and you want to learn, but you're thinking about doing a course, but you're not sure and you want to go back to your training. Well, just do this. It's all here. You can watch the video again and again and again and again. You can send me photos of your knots on WhatsApp and I'll give you feedback. Whatever it might be, things that just look really good to people. And it will raise the value. And actually 75 quid for 2 years of access to this course with all the accountability and extra resources. And, that would be great. And you only have to sell 10 of them and you've got 750 quid a month more. So it's
that was the goal. That still is the goal now. Fantastic. Do you need to shoot?
I'm gonna dash. Yeah. But I'll send some of these notes to you, and it'll all be on your action plan as well. I hope that was helpful. We covered a lot of stuff, but.
So there we go. That was pretty much the end of the call. We ran on a little bit longer, but most of it was talking about how we were going to set up this particular call and how we were going to release it, whether we release it in one go. And I think we made the right decision not to release a close to 3-hour long conversation all in one go, because that would be rather overwhelming. But then we talked a bit about how the steps going forward. So basically after this conversation, Asa went away and made an action plan for me that's sitting on my wall over that way, and basically was a list of recommendations for me to action to move the business forward over the next couple of months. And at this point of mid-January, where I'm recording this, I've made it through most of the outcomes up to the middle of January. So I'm caught up on outcomes, and I'm kind of starting to see how things are functioning. It might be a little while before I get a concrete answer to whether some of these things work, and how some of the recommendations do. But I will be starting the updates next week and give you a good idea of where things are going with Bracken Outdoors and how things are doing. So just to recap, General, this was a call with ASA Forest School Support, and the way the whole thing was structured, just so you know if this is something you would like to have a look into yourself. We had an initial email exchange, then we had a exploratory call where we hopped on a Zoom call and we talked about where I am now and where I want to be, and it was an element of coaching within that, really digging down and working out what the salient issues are with my business. Then we went on to the support call, which is kind of brings all those, where Asa brought all of his recommendations that he had researched and created based on the list, and then after the call then had the action plan, and the action plan had numerous things that I had to achieve, and I've shared it on the Forest School Assistance and Support Facebook group if you want to go back and look at that. It's a good excuse to join anyway. It's a fantastic community. And then at any point in the process I was able to then send him a message and go ask for clarification at a point, like which podcast do you mean over here or whatever. And it has really helped me as well to be going through all of these, editing it and making sure it goes out nicely for you guys. So all in all, I think it's been a really nice process. I've been able to receive proper focused recommendations from someone who understands the industry. It's not a very general oh yes, for a business you need to have this many customers and you need to be converting more. It's someone who really understands the forest school and bushcraft industry, and that has been incredibly valuable in this process. And the recommendations have been great. It's been great engaging with him. So I would say I can give my personal recommendation to ASA. So if you are stuck in your business or you're looking to start out, this is a good investment. It isn't money thrown away. It is very much, I mean, I've already recouped what I would have spent on this easily. So do check out the website. I've left a link down in the description. Check out the Facebook group, and do give ASA a shout if you found this this process helpful. And I hope it's given you a bit of ideas of how you can move your own business forward. And as I said, I will keep updating going forward from here. I'll let you know how I get on. So thank you so much for watching and listening. If you've made it through all 5 episodes, then thank you so much. Well done, to a certain degree. I hope you stick around for the upcoming podcast episodes, because I've got plenty more and I'm looking to get a few more interviews and things in the near future. So thank you so much for watching and listening. Remember to make the most of every day, and I'll catch you all next time.